Woohoo! Good morning, everyone. Good to see a few people on here already. Greetings. We're going to be rocking and rolling in a couple of minutes, making sure you got pen and paper. Let me see if we can do this. Cool. If I could get either co-host or host, just so I can screen share, that would be amazing. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Excellent. Making sure you got pen and paper. I'm excited. It's good to see some smiling faces. Hi, Lisa. Good. Josh.
How are you?
Very well. Josh
Morning.
is in the house. Good morning. Fantastic. Here he is. Look out. Love it. Keep that head nice and warm, buddy. It's fresh in the water this morning.
It's pretty cold here still, mate.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. So do we have the burpee rule yet? Do we have the burpee rule? So every minute that people are late, get a burpee. I love it. I did that at an event the other night, and people were looking at me sideways. It's amazing what happens when some of the excuses come up. Oh yeah, I couldn't log on. Oh, it's like, that's okay. That's okay. Brathan, greetings.
Good morning.
Good morning, Matt. Oh, we're all jumping in now. Fantastic. Let's go. Let's admit all. Batesy, Brody, Lauren, Ali. Fantastic. Love it. So good to see some smiling faces here. Making sure everyone, you've got paper and pen. I'm just going to play a little bit of music as we're about to kick off in about a minute's time. Everyone should know this song. All right, we're going to kick off, making sure you got a pen and paper. Let's shake it off, baby. Zell, love it. Good morning. The reason why we're playing this, just to shake a few things off this morning, a little bit different. Yours truly being here this morning. Wonderful. Alex jumping in now. All right, let's rock and roll. 8:31. Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. Hopefully you've got pen and paper. We're going to rock and roll. This is usually a 90-minute presentation. I'm going to put it into 27 minutes for you lovely people, because I know you are fast learners. I'm not going to slow down in talking, but I'll get you to speed up in listening, if that's okay. So making sure you got pen and paper, because we're going to go through some amazing stuff, which is going to take for you to take away, implement straight away, and to work through obviously what's going on at the moment. It's all fun and games out there in the market, and as you can see, it's changing, right? There's no doubt about that. We've got some interesting vendors out there, some interesting buyers out there, and everything in between. So today, let me screen share. We're going to get this underway. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Fantastic. So what I'd love for you to do is in the chat, making sure the fingers are nice and warmed up. What has been, let's start off with a win though. What has been a win for you over the week? All right. What has been a win? Doesn't matter how big or how small. What has been a win for you over the week? Let's throw that into the chat. What do we got? What's been a win for you over the week? I want to read some wins. You're here today. That's a win. Let's start off with that. What else is a win for you for the week? 4 listings. Boom, Lisa. Love it. Batesy signed up a listing last night over 2 other competitors. Fantastic. Good appraisal, Zell. Love it. Fantastic. 2 price reductions. Wonderful. All right. Keep on coming. Keep flooding those wins. Could be personal, right? We've got to work on all aspects because they flow through to each other. Wonderful. All right. So today we're going to be talking about a keyword, particularly where things are at the moment. And we're going to talk about this keyword, growth. All right. And so when we look at this, okay, cool. Let me just stop share and share again so you can actually see what I just written. When we talk about this, can you guys see that at the screen? It's not coming up. Love it. Technology, fantastic. All right, cool. So what I want you to do is to write on your piece of paper growth, and I want you to just to write down, what does that actually mean to you? What does actually growth mean to you? Let's write that down for me. What does growth, oh, there we go, beautiful. What does growth mean to you? Beautiful. Okay, cool. There we go. Okay, cool. So what I like for you to do is draw 3 circles like this. All right, if you can see that, draw 3 circles like that. Because today we're going to go for growth, and I'm going to give you some cool strategies that you can implement straight away into your day-to-day that allows you to work on this thing. Because at the moment, there's a lot of chatter out there. There's a lot of talk, but the biggest thing is what's happening between your ears. And if we can actually work on what's between our ears, what we can do is we become bulletproof. Yep, cool. Things are going to come our way. It's how we do, the matrix. How do we glide through it when we're being fired at? So if we look at growth and we look at 3, there's going to be 3 key areas we're going to talk about today. The first one we're going to talk about is self-leadership. Okay. First one we're going to talk about is self-leadership. Next one we're going to talk about is strategy. And the last one we're going to talk about is mindset. So if you're having on your page, self-leadership, strategy, and mindset, what that means is that when we actually don't have these things right, when we don't have self-leadership, what happens is that we can actually go through and feel, we get super frustrated and overwhelmed about certain things. How many of you felt frustrated before? Yep, we've all felt frustrated, right? When we don't have our mindset intact, we have an element of uncertainty. And when we don't have strategy in place, we feel that we're just waltzing around aimlessly. And so what happens, the good thing about this though, when we have self-leadership and when we have strategy, what happens is we have direction. When we have self-leadership and mindset, we have conviction. An element of conviction, you just know it's no, right? And when you have strategy and mindset, we have focus. So I just want to find out for you, where is the biggest thing for you right now? Is it direction? Is it conviction? Or is it focus? Is it direction? Is it conviction? Or is it focus? Just throw it in the chat. Is it a D or is it a C or is it an F? What is it for you right now? Is it a D, direction? Is it conviction? Or is it focus? Love it. D, focus, C, direction. Yeah, all 3. Beautiful. Totally fine. Okay, good. So let's unpack this, right? Because this, what we're going to do is unpack it, and we're going to give you some cool strategies, and we're going to work on self-leadership. So when it comes to self-leadership, this is about you guiding your own ship, right? This is about you stepping into your own level of leadership, leading yourself, leading your vendors, leading your buyers, leading all aspects of life. And there's 3 key areas when we talk about self-leadership, right? There's 3 key areas. So I'm going to put these up here. The first one is vision. What is your own personal vision that you have? Have you revisited your vision? What do you stand for? Who is Zell? Who is Batesy? Who are you? What is your vision statement for you that you go, whoa, this is who I am and this is what I stand for. Okay. Then the next aspect is what I call EQ, or where did that go? EQ, or emotional intelligence. If you haven't heard of emotional intelligence before, just show of hands, how many haven't heard of emotional intelligence? If you haven't heard of emotional intelligence before, please take some time over this next week to research it. There are 4 key areas, particularly in this market, we need to be emotionally aware. So there's 4 key areas of emotional intelligence. One is understanding your own emotions, because sometimes they go up and down like a roller coaster, right? Then it's how do we deal with our own emotions, right? So we could be up, we could be down, we could be left, we could be right, but how do we actually deal with them? And that's the second part. So first is awareness of our own emotions, and then emotional management for ourselves. Then the third component is understanding others' emotions. Do you think that would be important in this market? Yep. And so understanding others' emotions, and then how to actually guide that through, and actually how to manage those emotions. So for example, when you walk into a room and you know there's been a bit of a argy-bargy, how do you actually deal with that? How do you actually talk about the elephant in the room? How do you talk about price reduction? How do you talk about, setting expectations at an auction? What are those? How do we actually become that emotionally aware agent where we can pick up things, where we can pick up buyer signs through visual cue, through body language cue? So this is very, very important, emotional intelligence. And the third aspect is communication. How do we have those courageous conversations with our vendors, with our buyers, even with ourselves, right? The art of communication. We've all talked about, disc profile before. We've all done our disc profile. So what are the disc profiles of your buyers? What are the disc profiles of your vendors? How do you actually manage those communication elements with your own self-leadership? So if you have a look at vision, if you have a look at emotional intelligence, and if you have a look at communication, what I'd love for you to do is just to give yourself a score out of each one out of 10. What is your own what is your score? And if you were to just say vision is 3, or emotional intelligence is 5, and communication is 6, if you were to choose one that you go, right, that's the one that I need to focus on for this week, what would that one be? Would it be vision? Would it be EQ? Or would it be communication? Just throw it into the chat. What would be that one focus for you? If you could focus on one of those areas, you could focus on all, but if there was one area that you could focus on for this week, what would it be to move that dial? Vision, EQ, or communication? What would it be for you? EQ, Ali, yes. EQ, fantastic. EQ, communication, Brody, love it. Good stuff. So now what I love to do is to communication, fantastic, is talk about vision. Yes, talk about strategy. So once again, there's 3 key components to strategy. The first one is to have those big picture goals. What is that 5-year plan? Have you redone your vision boards, right? What's that why that you get up out of bed every single morning? Because that's going to be the motivator. That's going to allow you to really go, this is what we're doing for. This is why we're knocking on those doors, making those calls, right? Doing the activity that we need to do. What's that big picture? What's that 5-year plan? And then what's that short-term goals? So what are the 3 to the 12-month goals? Have you got that 90-day plan that you're working towards? Even a 30-day plan, being super focused. This next 30 days, this is where I'm going to be focusing on. The next 30 days, I'm going to be focusing on. What are those short-term plans? And then the last one is the accountability. A couple of you guys went to the gym this morning, which I saw in the chat, which is awesome, right? What's the accountability around helping one another through your call sessions, or through going out door knocking, whatever those activities that you need to do in order to move the dial? Okay. So let's have a look at that. Let's have a quick score out of 10 for each of those ones that you feel. Where's your big picture out of 10? Where's your short-term goals out of 10? And where's your accountability out of 10? And what would be the number? What would be the number that you feel is the main focus for you right now out of those three? Would it be big picture? Would it be short-term? Or would it be accountability? Let's go. Let's throw that into the chat. Accountability, short-term, accountability. Yes. Short-term, fantastic. Accountability. Love it. Okay, great. And as we move on now to mindset, once again, I like working in threes. So there's three key components when we talk about mindset. Firstly is the belief. We have two types of beliefs. We have beliefs that help us and we have beliefs that hinder us, right? They all fall into either one of those two. So what are the beliefs around you having it yourself around the market at the moment? Oh, it's doom and gloom. Oh, it's the world's going to end. Oh, everything's going to cave in. Or you go, cool. Okay. It is a bit tough, but hey, we might need to change a few things. So what's going on up in here? What's going up in your mind, in your belief of what you think is happening out there? Because your belief, your perception, is that really reality? Because person down the road could have completely different perception of what's going out there at the moment. So if you think about that, what would be a belief that might be holding you back right now? Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm too young. Oh, I'm too this, or I'm too that. I'm too whatever it is. If you would just choose a belief that you think you're having a story around right now, what would that be? And then what would be a belief that you go, I'm bulletproof. Let's go. What would be a belief that would help, that is helping you right now? And it could be a personal belief. It could be a professional belief. But what is that belief that you feel within yourself that you've got this? Excellent. Treat it as a challenge. I love it, Sel. And the next one is inner dialogue. Ooh, that lovely little voice. We've all got that little voice. Shh, be quiet. Shh, no, you be quiet. No, you be quiet. Right? That little voice that we have inside of our heads. So how are you working with that? So where is that for you right now? Is it super loud? Is it like speaker? Is it like surround sound? Or have you got it under control? Right? Is that helping you? Come on, you've got this. Let's go. Or it's like, oh, you're not good enough. No, stay in bed. Right? What is that for you right now? And the last one, one of my favorites is habits. What are the habits that are helping you? And what are the habits that are hindering you right now? What are the daily habits or rituals that you've got going? Is it the exercise? Is it the good food? Is it the meditation? Is it filling up your own cup? Is it consistency with your prospecting? What are those good habits that are helping you? And what are those habits that are maybe hindering you? Oh, Thursday night comes around. Oh, that glass of red wine's looking really, really nice and tasty. Oh, a second and third, maybe a fourth glass, whatever it is for you, right? What are some of those things that may be hindering you to move you forward? Okay. So if you look at this once again, let's rate ourselves out of 10. Where are you right now? Where's that belief for you right now? Is it more hindering or is it more helping? Where's that in a dialogue? Is it stereo, surround sound, or you've got it under control? And where are your habits at the moment? Are they helping or are they hindering you? So out of those scores, what would be the main area that you might need to focus on right now? What would be the main area? Throw that into the chat for me. Let's go. In a dialogue, fantastic. Habits, yes. Belief, excellent. In a dialogue, beautiful. In a dialogue, habits, fantastic, good. So now that we've got a bunch of different areas that we could work on. We've got 9 different areas that we could work on, but we've got 1 from each. If we were to work on all 9, how good do you think that would be good at implementing? Not that very good. So let's narrow the focus. Let's narrow the focus to when we have self-leadership, and we have the 1 key area could be, vision, it could be emotional intelligence or communication. So you've got the one key area. Now, what would be maybe 3 or 4 things that you could do to look at that, to improve on that? So let's say, for example, you wrote down, I need to focus on emotional intelligence. Okay, great. What would be, say, 3 or 4 key areas that you could do to move the dial around emotional intelligence? Okay, good. I might either buy the book, EQ, might do the online quiz to find out where my own emotional intelligence is at the moment. I might listen to some podcasts. I might journal around my own emotions that come up for the day. So what could be some of the things that would have an impact for you? And then if you look at that list that you've written, once again, it could be vision, it could be communication. This is an example. What would be one thing that would have the biggest impact that you could implement this week? Right. So for this example, oh, you know what? I think doing the online quiz, just so I have understanding of my own emotional intelligence, might be the biggest impact. Great. All right. So once again, we've got self-leadership area that we're focusing on. You've chosen either vision, emotional intelligence, or communication. Around that is the key area that you feel that you might need to work on for this week. And out of that, there are a bunch of activities that you can do. So it might take read the book, online quiz, podcast, journaling. This is an example around emotional intelligence, but what's going to have the biggest impact? Let's talk about then strategy. There were one of 3 key areas that you wrote down, either big picture, either short term, or either accountability. You chose one of those that's going to be the biggest impact. And choosing one, just say it's accountability, what would be maybe 3 to 5 things that you could do to improve that accountability? Get an accountability buddy. SMS your activity to someone like myself or to Jake. What would it be for you to increase that accountability dial if that's the area that you chose? Right? What are you committing to each week? And so now you've got a list of 3 to 5 different things. Once again, what's going to be the biggest impact for you to move that dial this week? Because you could do it all, right? I just want one thing. Because how good do you feel emotionally when we tick that one thing off consistently for a week? It gets the momentum going, gets the breathing going, gets the building and building and building. So that's strategy. Now let's look at, Now let's look at mindset. Once again, we had 3 different things. We had belief. We had inner dialogue. And we had habits. What did you choose for that? Was it belief? Was it inner dialogue? Or was it habits? Okay, what are maybe 3 to 5 things that we could do for that one thing? What could we do around our belief? Maybe journal about what are some of the beliefs that may be helping us, or what are some of the beliefs that may be hindering us. We could go and do some belief work to unshackle some of those negative beliefs that are holding us back. Okay, what are some of the things that we could do to improve our inner dialogue? Is to actually talk back to it. Yeah, find out where it's coming from. This is a cool little trick around talking back to you, that little voice, because usually that little voice is there to protect us. It's there to help us, to provide that security. But if we provide that security and we talk back to it, it starts to quieten down. Great thing around meditation helps to decrease that inner dialogue. And then habits. What are the things that we need to do around our habits? Identify what are those habits that are helping us, and how do we stack on more habits around that? How do the habits that we might need to relinquish and let go of, what could that be? So what would be, once again, just one thing would have the biggest impact for you for this week? So now we have just 3. one item from our self-leadership, one item from our strategy, and one item for our mindset to focus on for this week. That's it. And watch what happens to your results. Watch what happens to your productivity. You're going to start to go, whoop, right? Because you're focusing on you. You're filling up the cup. You're working on your self-leadership. You're working on your strategy, and you're working on your mindset. So I want to find out what were some of the ideas and insights that you've committing to do. What are your personal actions? Let's throw that into the chat. What would be, choose it that you believe would be the biggest impact action item that you're going to commit to this week. Let's throw that into the chat. What is it for you? What's going to be the biggest impact action item for you for this week? In a dialogue, beautiful, fantastic. Setting a 30 and 90-day plan. Love it, HT. Good work. Love it. Send them through. What's going to be the biggest impact for you for this week? Journal and accountability. Revisit big picture vision. Yes, Brody. Star an accountability chart. Love it. Also, accountability buddy. Fantastic. All right. Wonderful. So here's a little challenge. Hands up for who likes a little challenge. We all like a little challenge. So today is Thursday. By next week, by 8 o'clock or before your next meeting next week, I want you to, well, this is accountability and this is habits. Let me know how you went. How did you go for the week? Out of those 1, 2, 3 items, simply send me an SMS and go, yep, tick them all off, or 50% through, or, oh, forgot about them, right? And here's a little trick. Here's a little statistic for you. If you don't action any of these in the next 48 hours, this whole 30 minutes, you'll lose 80% of this information. So what you're doing is that you're building new neural pathways. And in order to sustain those new neural pathways of these 3 key action items, you need to actually revisit it. You need to actually start an action around it. So if it's planning, great. When in your diary you're going to make that happen? If it's belief work, when are you going to do that? Where's a journaling or accountability? When are you going to do that over the next 48 hours? Because if you don't take any action over the next 48 hours, you'll lose 80% of this information. So it's so important that we just do one step, because that one step will going to be the next step. Okay. So want to find out what's been the biggest takeaway from today? Let's throw that into the chat. What's been the biggest takeaway from you that you've taken away from this morning? What's been the biggest takeaway? Let's throw that into the chat. Growth, leveling up my awareness. Yes, love it. Laying it out on the table and work on what you can see and feel. Yes, love it. Good stuff, good stuff. Need to make some plans and have a chat to myself. Love it, Lisa. It's a great conversation to have. Love it. Made me seriously think about setting myself up for the next quarter, both mentally and physically. Love it, Greg. Thank you, sir. Well done. Well done. Learn to break bad patterns and focus on positives. Need to change some habits. Yes, might help me focus. Yes, Leah, fantastic. Well, lovely to see your smiling faces. Thank you for allowing me to share some insights for today. Hope you enjoy the rest of the week. And if there's any questions, please reach out. And let's go and create some magic. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye for now. Have a good day.